Immediately after we ended our last podcast, DJ, I just got pissed at myself. I almost texted you and spilled the beans, but I didn't. I was like, we need to restart because I broke tradition because I told you following the NFL draft that we were going to have the same intro and you were going to have to pronounce the Lions' second round pick until we got it right. However, we went a different direction with the intro. So I'm bringing it back today, which is probably to my advantage because I don't think you have a chance at getting this one right. So DJ, with the 9th pick in the second round of the 2021 NFL draft, how do you pronounce the name of the player that the Detroit Lions selected?
Do I have to memorize it? Because I don't remember what the name was.
Well, so is that your answer?
Onzaruke, I think.
Oh, not too bad. But you didn't get the first name. You just punted on it. So let's get loaded because this is the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finished last. Forgot the crack, so I'll do it now.
Oh, that was a nice little crack as well. But welcome back to the Loaded Box Podcast. I was just telling DJ right before we started that it feels like it's been forever since we've recorded an episode, but he pointed out to me it's because we didn't do one since last Monday. And like I said, man, I totally forgot to make you pronounce Levi Onwuzurike's real name. I probably would have let that go, but you just left out the Levi. What happened there?
I couldn't remember the first name, but I knew that you left out like letters in the middle of it. So I was like, oh shit, I think I got the last name, but I don't remember what his first name is.
Oh, I love it. I was going to allude to there in the beginning, this is part 2 of our over-under season-long win total episode. So today we're going to be doing the NFC. Last week we covered the AFC, so if you haven't checked that one out, make sure you go do that. You don't need to listen to them in any specific order. So as soon as you're done with this one, go ahead and check that one out. Like I said in that episode, we do this twice a year. We'll do it once more before the season as more of like an actual prediction episode where we go over under win totals. We do playoff predictions, Super Bowl predictions, award predictions, basically everything that goes into the season. But this one is more of like your post NFL draft. The new over under lines are out. We're degenerates. So we want to tell you who to bet on. So I'm thinking follow our lead, grab a few beers, open up that gambling app. Put a couple bets in there. DJ, I know you want to bet. You're betting on NBA basketball as we record this.
Yeah, and it's not going well. I've been looking for futures for the NFL consistently on my my local bookies website, and they're not popping up. I'm pissed, but I'm always looking. That's what I do. I texted a buddy of mine today, and I am such a degenerate that I don't even like summer anymore. I just want to skip it and go straight to fall. I'm not kidding. I just want to go straight to fall. I want to watch Saturday football. I want to watch Sunday football. Yep. I want to gamble my fucking face off.
I can't hate on that argument too much. I love the idea of being outside when it's warm out and grilling and doing all the good stuff, just beers on the deck, But man, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was watching like Dolphins social media and Twitter videos, just like 30-second clips of OTAs. I was like, dude, is it September yet? What the hell? I've never been this excited. I think it's because my team's finally good.
Nah, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we did that in last week's episode when we did the AFC. So, well, let's break it out. Let's start up the NFC. Let's start in the East. We'll go with the team that has the highest amount of over-under wins, which is the Dallas Cowboys. Their over-under is set at, I'm putting it on the bottom here for those who are watching on YouTube or Twitter live or recorded, I guess. The Dallas Cowboys over-under is set at 9.5. The over is minus 115. The under is minus 125. DJ, how you feeling about this?
Every year, it feels like the NFC is just a fucking disaster. I hate talking about them. I hate discussing it. I don't know what's going to happen. Giants fans think they're a player away from the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl all of a sudden. Apparently Daniel Jones is good. Who knew that? Because I haven't seen it. Washington football team fans think they're a player away. Ryan Fitzpatrick's their quarterback. I don't know what they think they're doing. The Eagles are just living in perpetual distraught. I don't think they know where they are. They're in this purgatory stage where they're like, we don't really believe in Jalen Hurts. But the good thing about the Eagles fans is that they're always negative anyways. So I think their expectations now that the Super Bowl is 5 years ago is just not great. They're not great.
Right.
They're not good. So they're like the one team that I'm like, oh, they suck. And then there's these Cowboys like Dak is coming back. He's talking about how he's fully ready to play. They've got all these offensive weapons, but their defense still stinks. So it's hard for me to pick this division just off the top of my head. As I've said before in the past, I'm just going right now. I know you do game by game. Ben does game by game coming to this. I do not going into this first round of over-unders. I do that when we get closer to the season. I do think the Cowboys are obviously better than what they were last year. You can't count on Dak getting hurt. Ezekiel Elliott, all those wide receivers. The defense can only get better, I think.
Right. It can't go much farther down. They were getting passed all over last year. They were getting run all over. Man, just that Browns game last year just is like the epitome of what ended up happening. Like they can score with anyone, especially when Dak's healthy. Man, that defense can't stop a thing.
And that extra game's fucking with me, so I need to think of it in terms of it's an 8.5. It's 8.5. The over-under is 8.5 to me. So I'm just gonna drop a game. The over is under 8.5 and 16 game purposes. Dak Prescott, quarterback, healthy for a whole year. Really bad division. I'll lean over. I'm not betting it.
There you go. I like what you did last week when you said, I'm just going to give every team like their record based on 16 games and then add a tie. So in your case, like if you think they're going to have 8 wins, they're going to go 8-8-1. Like I think you should have just kept with that strategy. It felt fairly foolproof for the time being. I don't have an official play on the Cowboys, and I think I want to spend more of my time on those that I do. So I'll just kind of glance over this one. Like DJ said, I go through every single game on the schedule when I do these predictions just to see where I have them in comparison to where the Vegas line is set. I had them going 8-9. I love that offense with Dak Prescott and those healthy wide receivers and Zeke Elliott. Like that offense and getting the offensive line healthy is going to be huge. That offense has top 5 potential all day. It's exactly what you said, though. You can't rely on that defense. And yes, it can only go up. It will go up. But Jesus, it has to go up significantly in order to equate to wins. Because like I said, in a couple of games last year, especially even when Dak was healthy, they were scoring with everyone. Their record still sucked. Like they weren't even that good. I know the division's not all that great, but 8-9, I don't feel super confident in the under because the offense is that elite, but at the same time, defense is a freaking funnel at this point in time. So I'm going to do no play on this one. Let's go to Washington football team. First and foremost, are we just going to live in a constant state where football team is this football team's name? Are they going to change it ever?
No, I feel like you shouldn't. I'm all in on football team. Like,
why not as well? It's growing on me.
Why not take the claim and like you are the football team?
The football team.
We are the football team.
Yeah.
Yes, we own the football of the teams. We are the team of football, and you guys are just a bunch of pretenders that have these mascot fake names. Like if I were the football team, I would just own that. Own it.
Their mascot is just a football. Like you can't get any better than that.
It's just a crowd of people in a huddle.
Their over-under is set at 8.5. The over is -130. The under is -110. How do you feel here?
What was the over-under again? Sorry.
8.5.
My wife is puking. Under. I think they're the
what?
8.5. I think the Giants are better than them. I don't think they get any better with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Their defense is solid, but offensively, I don't know. They don't excite me. Again, they play in this shitty ass division, so we're comparing them to a bunch of other teams in the division, but they just lose to teams outside their division. So I think we have to put this. I feel like we have troubles like separating the two. I think football fans are like, oh, they made the playoffs. We forget their record in the rest of the division's record. That's just a giant mistake. Ooh, no pun intended. But
I see what you did there.
I didn't try, but I did. No, I did try to do that. That was on purpose. But
you're a renegade. You're like a cowboy.
Well, just to put it in perspective, they suck. The rest of the division sucks, and all of them were like below 500, and that's how they made the playoffs with the team below 500. So I think they're the third of the best teams in that division. I think the Giants may be just like one game better, and they're both like 6 to 7 win teams. So I'm under on. I think Washington's kind of stinky, actually.
Wow, we're big disagreement here. If you remember from last week, I pinpointed like there were a lot of them that I recommended betting on, but there was like 2 that I singled out. I think I've got like 2 or 3 in the NFC as well. This is one of them. I have the Washington football team winning this division with an 11-6 record. DJ, I don't want to say I'm all in, but I think you should bet the over on this, and I think you should bet on them making just the playoffs in general. You give Ryan Fitzpatrick crap, and it's warranted. He'll have some clunkers. But, man, everything is set up for him. He's got a pretty good offensive line. Antonio Gibson came out of left field last year and established a running game for this team. He's got weapons on the outside. Like, they're not like household names at this point. But adding Curtis Samuel to the slot adds another element that they didn't have. He's not going to be your every week statistical producer, but he's a mismatch guy that just offers so much for everyone. Terry McLaurin is a wide receiver 1 in this league. And then you just added Diami Brown as well. You got Logan Thomas, who also kind of came out of left field at tight end.
You're David a team of average pass catchers.
Here's the deal. I think they're a little bit above
I've
average.
seen this.
And that defense, DJ, that defensive front seven is hands down probably top 2, top 3 in the league.
You literally just talked about the Chicago Bears. You just if you went blind and didn't know who you're talking about, you just talked about the Chicago Bears.
Unfortunately, I can't quite decline that, or I can't quite say that you're inaccurate there. But man, when your division is the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cowboys, though, I think you're. I'm not going to say you're getting 6 wins, but you should win 5 of those games.
I think
win 4 more.
Look, Allen Robinson is better than McLaurin.
Fair.
David Montgomery this last year was better than it took, and Gibson was good, but Montgomery went off.
Yeah,
they have a good defense, but every game they play is close. Every time you leave a team in the game, I mean, you're going to finish around that 500 mark. They're a 500 football team.
Hey, maybe we're downplaying the Bears.
No, we're not doing that either.
I like it. This is one that I would tell you to bet on, and it's one of my favorite ones in the NFC. 11-6. All they got to do is hit 9 wins, and it's only minus 130. I think you swallow it, and I think you take it to the bank. Let's go on to the Giants. Over-under is set at 7.5. Just like the Washington football team, the over is minus 130. The under is minus 110.
So this is where I'd give them 8 wins. I'd give the football team 7. So I'm really pushing the lines here because it's 8 and 9. Not good, but I'm leaning over. I think they're just a tiny bit better than the football team. Saquon's back. Obviously they have Ingram. I know the Giants hate Evan Ingram, but I like him. I think he's obviously made some mental mistakes, but Devontae Adams dropped a lot of balls too. It's not like they can come out of that. The guy's very athletic. He's kind of a mismatch at tight end. So we have the added Galladay. They have Sterling Shepard. That they have weapons there. And Daniel Jones is athletic enough. Even if he can't throw, he can make some. He's just kind of a threat with his legs. Obviously, we saw him trip on the 20-yard line last year, and they've got a defense. So I do like them better than I like the football team. So I would lean over 8-9, 9-8, somewhere in that range. Again, not super bought in because I can't read that NFC East. I have no idea how good anybody is going to be. But right now, off the top of my head, just based off of talent, I think they're a little bit better than the football team.
Yeah, I've got them going 9-8. This is one that's not my favorite bets, but yes, I am definitely going to bet this one over. What scares me a little bit here is when you're betting 2 teams in the same division with that over when it's that basically almost exact number. But 9-8, feel pretty good about it. You hit on all the points that I was going to bring up. Kind of taking it to a different level is, and I know we talked about this before, but this is what you do with a young quarterback. You give them the Galladays, you give them the Kadarius Tonys. You already have your guys there. You're getting Saquon Barkley back. It's put up time. If you don't put up numbers with these guys, you're done. You are done. Yep. You're moving on from him if he doesn't do it this year. So that could be good. The added pressure, take him to the next level. And yeah, maybe they get 10 wins and they can prove that he's the guy. But man, if they fall short of 7, because they're over under 7.5, if they fall under that 8 wins, I would venture to say that Daniel Jones' time in New York is likely done. Yeah.
I mean, you can't argue it.
Yeah.
This is his last chance. That's it. It's only 3 years, but
things move so much faster at the quarterback position now in NFL. What did Rodgers sit? 3 years?
Yeah.
2.5, 3 years, whatever it was.
Yep.
That's unheard of at this point, unless you're Jordan Love. Maybe it's a Packers thing, but other than that,
I mean, Mahomes had 1 or 2?
One.
One.
And he played towards the end of his rookie year as well. like the last couple games, but here or there. We got one more team in the East. It's the Eagles. I think you and I are both fairly low on them. I'm just excited to see if you're as low on them as I am. Vegas is also a little bit low on them. Over under is set at 6.5. The over
perfect
is minus 145. The under plays to our advantage. It's even money, plus 100.
I was gonna say, if you give me like 7 games, I'm in money on the under. I'll still smash the under 6.5, 7, 6.5, no difference to me at all here. I am always on the record as not a fan of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. He cannot read defenses. He relies on his athleticism. He was stinky in college with Oklahoma. Like he just made bad decisions. If the first read wasn't there, he was either going to go there or there was going to be nothing. He was going to take off and run. And typically, if you tried to go there, it was going to be picked. And I would get so frustrated watching this idiot try to throw passes. He's so bad. Jalen Hurts is bad. Eagles are in for disappointment over and over and over again. This guy is not the quarterback of the future. You could play this back over and over again in 2 to 3 years, and I will not be ashamed of this because I'm very confident that this clip will not be on Ben's freezing cold takes that he likes to bust out on me and try to put in the chat, even though I'm right more than I'm wrong and I own him. But I don't have time. I have things I have to do besides sit here and read between our text messages and hit the search button. But no, they're going. This is so far my favorite bet of all of them. Yeah. The under on this is like it's a 4-game winning team. It's a 4 games.
The funny thing is, this is the team in the East that I have the biggest discrepancy from where Vegas has them to where I have them. But it makes me nervous. I have them going 2-15. And I've said this before, like that's just going through every single game.
And they have no cornerback.
How things are going. They have no cornerback. That's going to be an issue.
Yeah, definitely.
But this is one of those things. It's like, do I really see them only winning 2 games? No, probably not. But like you said, like, am I that far off? Am I really hating the Eagles as much as what's warranted? I don't know. It is a bit of a down division, but football team and the Giants and Dak's getting healthy. Like there's got to be improvement here. And who didn't improve? Of all of them, probably the Eagles. So 6.5 is a pretty damn low number, but I'm getting even money. I would probably tell you to sprinkle a little bit of something on this. It's not one of my like, I talk about like my big bets that I'm going with in these episodes. It's not on that level, and it's just because I'm scared of being dead wrong. Like, you know how sometimes in like our fantasy football episodes, we completely dog a player like all offseason, like, nah, not draftable. And then he's on the board there for you, like in a mid to late round, and you're like, fuck, was I wrong? Like, is everyone else right? Should I take this guy? Like those kind of thoughts cross my mind. I'm a little just scared.
I don't think so.
That.
I think you can hate a guy and draft him based on value. Where if he drops to that spot, I don't think you should determine it. You hate like the Beerfield guys. They talk about it all the time. You hate their ADP. So if their ADP or where you have them right, like if you hate where they're being drafted, and then you see a bunch of other people hating them, and they're following 1-2 rounds, then you've got great value at that point.
Right. So you're telling me I got value in the Eagles since I only gave them 2 wins.
Exactly.
Fuck it. We're betting it. Bet the Eagles under. Take that. Like I said in the beginning, crack a couple beers, open that betting app. Let's spend a little bit of money today. The nice thing is you're betting this money if you're listening to this probably late May, early June. You don't need to pay this up until freaking January. Well, like you got plenty of time.
Well, I mean, me and you are betting through local bookies who we have an online website and we see them. So it's other people who are betting legally have to have money in it to pay it right away. So if you're betting legally, you do have to have the money. Gamble responsibly, but gamble your fucking ass off.
Tomato. Let's move on to the West. This is one of my favorite bets. The LA Rams, Vegas over-under is 10.5. Over is even money, plus 100. Under is minus 145. How you feeling about this one, DJ?
Oh, this is hard because if they can win, what did they have last year for wins? I don't know. If they can win whatever they won, 10 games, 10 games, playoff team with Goff at quarterback, and now you're throwing Matt Stafford in, who's, the real deal.
Yeah.
I feel like people are going to bet the under just forgetting that Matt Stafford's that quarterback. For that reason, I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over.
Scary good though, right?
They are, but I'm going over on the Rams because Stafford is he's one of the top 7 quarterbacks in the NFL, and we forget it because he's played on the terrible Lions, who's had terrible coaches, but he's just always putting up numbers. And now he's got a coach with Jalen Ramsey. He's got a coach who can scheme guys open. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers with Matt LaFleur in general. Yep. And Matt LaFleur is just brand new. He's got a good offense, but he's got the best quarterback in the NFL. Now you've got Matt Stafford with that offense. You've got Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, one of the best defenses on the other side, and Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and all those guys. Van Jefferson, I think they drafted the other wide receiver. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, Tutu Atwell, little Tutu out of Louisville. This year, they've got Cam Akers, who's probably going to get injured this year, but if he's healthy, if he's healthy, he's obviously really good at running. But they've got a lot of things, and their offense is schemed really well. And now you've got, I mean, to me, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. We just forget that he's that good. They're scary. I just try to remember that when you're doing predictions. This could be a 12-win Super Bowl, like a real Super Bowl. Not could be. This is a Super Bowl contending team. They are one of the 8 teams I would put in the Super Bowl, and I think they're one of the top 4 teams in the NFL that we're not talking about. Matt Stafford is the real deal, and now he has a real team around him.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you're listening to, because I've seen some like power rankings, whatever, last few days where some people are really high on the Rams, but like you said, there's other teams that are other people, analysts, whatever, that are just seemingly a bit low on them. And like you said, it's like, are you kind of thinking it's the same old Rams team that we've seen like post Super Bowl where it just hasn't been as exciting as it was that year? Because it's a whole different team now with Stafford in that position. This is one of the NFC ones. I said I had 2 or 3. This is one of them that I love. You said that you wouldn't be surprised if they won 12 games. I've got them going 12-5. The only reason I wouldn't even like go crazy bet big on this one is because of that division. There was a couple of weeks ago, we've had Elliot Christ on the podcast numerous times. He's big into gambling. He said like something about, why would you not put a wager on Seattle winning the division? Like Russell Wilson's only never not won it. Like so many times he's always had 10+ wins. And I responded back to him and said, because all those other teams did significant things to get better this offseason. The Seahawks, name something that they did like this offseason that you think makes them any better than what they were last year. Because I don't have anything that comes to mind.
Nope.
There's not a thing. And all these other teams, like the 49ers are going to be, well, I know we're going to talk about them next. They're going to be better. Like they have no choice but to be better. Their defense is going to be healthy.
I mean,
they're not going to
be quarterback.
Yeah. Quarterback situation is going to be semi figured out. We'll talk about Seattle. We'll talk about the 49ers. I'll jump back to the Rams quick. I like this over. I've got them going 12-5. I'm going to echo the same exact things you did. I should have went first on that one since it's one of my bigger bets, but you said it perfectly. So we'll just sit it there. Let's move on to those 49ers. Vegas. So like I said, a team that was a little bit down last year. Vegas has their win total at 10.5 now. Over is -110. Under is -130.
Yeah, I mean, they're returning a bunch of – I mean, Bosa's coming back. Garoppolo is going to be starting. I don't picture Trey Lance playing this year if he's healthy.
Speaking of a team that didn't have cornerbacks last year, they just got blown up by injuries last year.
They got blown up in every position on defense. Like, I mean, when your best player in I fucking the Bosa's up.
That's my job.
Bosa.
I do that.
Nick Bosa is the Niner, I believe. Joey is the Charger. When your best player in Bosa gets injured and then a bunch of other guys on top of that, your quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo's not a good quarterback, but he was good enough for that team to get them to a Super Bowl. Right. The guys behind him just were not. They weren't. This is a hard one. 10 it's tough. Trey Lance isn't the guy that's going to get – if they have to go to if they have to play Trey Lance this year, they're going under 10.5 wins. Yeah. If they don't, they're probably going over. All depends on what you think. Right. I'm out on this bet.
God, once again, I think you said that perfectly, because I think if they're comfortable enough to go with Trey Lance and like he picks up the offense and it's a choice that they willingly make, that's fine. If Garoppolo plays, that's fine as well. I would say, yeah, they could definitely hit that over. But if for some reason, like if Garoppolo gets out to a bad start, or if they just say like, you know what, let's just see what the future has in Trey Lance. We're not super confident, but we got to throw him in there. then yeah, I'm totally all in on that under. So when I was going through game by game on this team, you're kind of stuck at this point in the offseason when we do it this early, just like, who is the quarterback going to be? How is this going to play out? So with that, I had them going 8-9, but also with that, with all the uncertainty, huge pass right now. There are certain teams in late April and in May and in June, I like betting on before the season starts, before the numbers end up changing. There are also teams I would say definitely don't do that with. And the 49ers are one of those teams. So I'm 100% a no bet on that one. Let's slide into Seattle here. Another team we sort of alluded to. Vegas has another team in this division with 10 plus. They're at 10 exactly, over -120, and the under is the same. How do you feel about this?
This one's tough because they did right away what everybody asked them to do. Let Russell cook, right? He threw the ball a ton last year, a ton. And then people started just playing pass defense, and they couldn't throw the ball as well. And then they already couldn't run the ball, and they had problems at the running back position. So it's weird because the problem 2 years ago was that they ran it too much, so they just forgot about like that Russ existed. And you need to have you do have to have a semi-balance. Like it doesn't need to be 50-50 at all. It's 730 would be fine, but it seems like it was not, 90-10 pass last year, and then like 60 run, 40 pass. So it depends on if they can make the mix more 60 pass, 40 run type of situation. Like you said, they didn't do much that got me excited. They had Dwayne Eskridge. I know you're excited about him, but I mean, they have DK Mack, have Tyler Lockett. It doesn't really add much at that passing game. Chris Carson's good, but defensively, they have Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams. Are those the two guys they have? Is that it? Is that their defense? Those two guys?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Significant improvements. Like nothing.
I'm leaning the under, especially with you're dealing with Jalen Ramsey in that division, as we talked about, Aaron Donald, and then everybody in that San Francisco defense. And the Cardinals think that they're improving by adding more guys offensively, but not improving the offensive line that much or defense. So, people think the Cardinals are going to be better. I'm going under. I think I'm not heavy under, but I'd be comfortable enough to bet like a unit on this under for the Seahawks.
One of the things that Elliott said in that tweet that I was talking about
earlier. Get over Elliott, dude.
Well, I'm just going to say, because it ties back to Seattle, because that was the damn team the tweet was about. He pointed out how Russell Wilson is one of those quarterbacks that's going to make your team win more games. I'll do it for you. Aaron Rodgers is that quarterback. Like you throw Aaron Rodgers on any of the teams, that team is going to win more than the quarterback they likely already have. Obviously, take out Mahomes and whatever, Tua. But other than that, you must be really distracted if you didn't give me shit there.
No, I didn't. You said other than Tua, and I'm just.
Oh, you're just numb to me now.
Yeah,
fair enough.
You did Aaron Rodgers and then only quarterback other than Tua, and I'm over it.
All right, fair enough.
Sorry, ruined your whole night. I ruined the podcast, everybody. Ben's
you
really sad about that.
You actually made the podcast by just ignoring it. I had Seattle going 10-7, so with Vegas having their line at 10, I'm spot on with them. But as I said earlier, they didn't do anything that blew me away. So I'm like, why is this team going to be significantly better when everyone else in this division did things and it's getting healthy?
I'm angry about this game that I bet on right now. So sorry.
Gambling, man. Gambling gets under your skin. It just impacts everything.
I'm fazed by this.
I'll just pass on this one. I don't have anything new to add. Let's go to the Cardinals. The lowest team in this division, but Vegas still has them at 8.5. Close to even here. Over is -115. The under is -125. DJs, this is your time to shit on Kyler Murray.
I'm not comfortable unless I'm uncomfortable. Everybody's betting the fucking over on the Cardinals this year.
Yeah.
Smash the under for that reason. You're talking about how good these teams are, good all the teams in the division are. 8.5. People are going to lose their mind. They have fucking DeAndre Hopkins. They keep bringing in all these guys, all these weapons in there. And everybody's gonna bet on them, and that's what Vegas is gonna love. That I think it's a sucker bet. It's a rat line that 8.5. Kyler Murray stinks.
There it is.
He does. He's a shitty quarterback. He's just not good. There's these games where he just it's like he forgets how to throw a football, or he just forgets how to make decisions. Cliff Kingsbury, I mean, he gets fired from his own alma mater. He just really isn't that good of a coach. He really isn't.
He's got a dope house, though.
They lost Patrick Peterson.
Yeah.
I don't think they were really that good in secondary or on defense either way. They do have some good linebackers.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. But I just think I see everybody and their mother smashing the Cardinals, and for that specific reason, I have to go against public. And when I see Vegas line like this, I'm going to go the opposite way. It's rat line. I'm getting my regular season head on and rat lining this one. Under on the Cardinals.
You'd recommend the under then?
Yep.
When I was going through the Cardinals, I felt like I was about split on them, going wins and losses and everything. I'm like, I'm probably going to have them be about 8-8. Turns out I had them going 11-6. Mm-hmm. But this is like the reverse of what I said about the Eagles. Like, do I really think the Eagles are only going to win 2 games? No. But at the same time, do I really think the Cardinals are going to win 11 games? I don't know that I'm that bought in. You talked about the defense and losing Patrick Peterson, and you spent a first-round draft pick at the linebacker position the last 2 years. Isaiah Simmons, Zaven Collins. Love those guys. But at the end of the day, are they going to be the game changers when it comes to wins and losses? They'll help, but they're not going to like be the end-all be-all. Like, I think this team went from a 9-win team to an 11-win team. I don't see that. It's hard to deny what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball, though, DJ. So you've got Edmonds, you added James Conner, you added a veteran AJ Green. If he's healthy, you need him for 1 year. You need him 1-2 years. That's what you're asking out of him. You drafted Rondale Moore to be like another weapon.
How many wide receivers can one team have? It doesn't do anything to add all those guys.
Hopkins, it doesn't hurt. Like,
yes,
you can't say that it
really does. Because you're taking away from other positions. You're taking away from other positions. You can't. Well, what do you do with all these other guys?
Yeah, well, a lot of these guys are on cheaper deals too.
Look at the fucking Dallas Cowboys.
Are you okay?
No, it's stupid. That strategy is dumb, and that's all Cliff Kingsbury and him being an idiot and not caring about defense.
It is a huge portion of that, but he believes in himself, and you want a coach that does that. However, I also saw Adam Gase believe in himself a couple different times. It doesn't work out well. Yeah, JJ Watt, nice little player.
They overpaid him.
Well, they're all in. Like, they're just trying to do it though. That's why you get a Watt. That's why you add AJ Green. That's why you draft Rondale Moore. It's like guys that you can just plug in and just hope to get something from.
Yeah.
I'm going too deep into it to just say it's a no play. Like, I don't want to go on with this one too much longer.
Charles Woodson next.
Hey, I think he's got eligibility left.
He's got some eligibility.
I like what they're doing. This division scares me, especially with how high I am on the Rams and how much I like the 49ers defense when it's healthy. I can't do it. I'm with you on the Cliff Kingsbury thing. Is he over his head? Like, was this job too big for him? How did he get this job after he got fired from his alma mater? Like, there's a lot of question marks here. So I'm going to side with you on this one. I'm going to skate over to the north. Let's start. So the Green Bay Packers, when I looked on my site and then I looked as we were talking earlier, I can't find a line for the Green Bay Packers right now with all the Rodgers stuff going on.
Pass.
You just want to not talk about it?
Yeah, not at all.
Do you want to hear what I have them at?
No.
Oh, wow. Well,
you can.
If the listeners want to know, I went through the schedule assuming that Aaron Rodgers was playing, and I had the Green Bay Packers at 12-5. So with that being said, I think that if you find a line for them anywhere, like if you can get it while there's still a little bit of question marks, sprinkle a little bit on that over just to be on the safe side. But there's question marks. There's question marks here. And since we don't have a line, we don't have to dive into it too much. If DJ gets too amped up later at the end of the podcast, I'm sure he'll say something. But
pass.
I think he's just really upset right now that Aaron Rodgers has a man bun.
I actually
there it comes.
No. Outside of football, I love Aaron. I was watching him sing those songs, and then I started singing with him. I was smiling, I was crying. I love Aaron Rodgers. I love him with everything in my heart. He can do no wrong to me. He will never do any wrong. And everything that he says is correct. And every theory he has and every move he makes is correct. And every decision that the front office has made is incorrect. That's all I have to say. I love the guy. He can't do any wrong. Anybody who's a Packer fan that goes against Aaron Rodgers doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. They need to re-educate themselves on every situation and just pay attention. It's just they're ignorant. But yeah, no, I love Aaron Rodgers, but I don't want to talk about the over-unders.
Sounds like you had a lot to say, though.
I just love Aaron Rodgers. I really do. You thought I wouldn't. I love how you're like, you would hate this guy, and you took a video of him drunk and singing, and you literally have a video of me standing up singing my ass off to what's his name? What's the guy's name? Eric Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton. Eric Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton. Oh, they're all the same to me. Chris Stapleton, Tennessee Whiskey, singing with passion. You think that me and him wouldn't be friends? Jesus
I don't think Rodgers is singing the songs that you like. Also,
I'll sing whatever he likes.
Rodgers is, based on what I've seen with him on the guitar, he's at best QB2 at plucking the strings because he's got nothing on Tua at QB1 with that ukulele. Man, he's so good at that. I just get tingly every time I listen to that guy sing. Let's move on to the Vikings. As I think we had a comment there from Kyle.
Can I say something real quick?
Who's a Vikings fan, so I know he's excited to hear this. I know you did. I threw it back in there. Well, you can just throw it back. But yes, DJ. Before we move on to the Vikings, I'll let you say something.
Yeah, it's important
to
say this before we talk about the rest of the division. If you are going to bet, and I wish I had lines right now for division winners and shit right now. If I had the opportunity to go in and bet the team to win the NFC North, I would go put money on the Chicago Bears. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, that's a spoiler. That's like not a spoiler. That's a teaser.
I don't even think it has anything to do with the over-unders right now. If you're smart and you can get the odds at this point and just try to take a shot, I would put money on the Chicago Bears to win that division right now.
All right. Well, we'll get to the Bears.
The Vikings, not the Lions, but those two teams are an opportunity to get some odds on.
I agree. Let's start with the Vikings. Vegas has them set at 9. The over is -145. The under is +100. So Vegas is going to make you pay here if you want to go over, DJ.
Yeah, this whole division is just it literally the division. We can't talk about it without talking about the fact that Aaron Rodgers has existed, right? Like, does he play? Does he not? So it's like I passed on the Packers, and I was thinking that I could just not talk about them.
They're going to be brought into every single one of these teams.
But you can't not. Yes, they own that division when they have Aaron Rodgers. They just do. It's a fact of life. It's not me being cocky. You just go look at the years that he started. Brett Favre started, and we've dominated for 20 straight years. I mean, it's over 60%. This is a team, though. They've added on the offensive line. They added Patrick Peterson, trying to get better at the cornerback position because they got murdered by Devontae Adams. Obviously, they have guys like Justin Jefferson. They have some good wide receivers. They've got Dalvin Cook, who's a freak of nature. It's hard. It's so hard. It's almost impossible to make a prediction on this division without knowing, to even make a solid prediction, without knowing whether Aaron Rodgers is playing, because that's at least one loss if he's not playing, or if he is playing, and a guarantee probably 2 wins if he is. I really believe that. I truly believe that. That's how much faith I do not have in anybody else. That's how dumb I think this front office is in the Green Bay. So as of right now,
you're a Blake Bortles supporter.
I love Blake Bortles. Is it 9.5? You said
9 even.
That's so hard. Hard.
It's a great line
because I think it's going to land right on there. I actually think the Bears are going to be better than what people think. So I would stay away from that.
So you can pass it. I know it hurts you to pass sometimes, but you can do it.
It does.
All right. Oh man, this. I totally agree with this line. I think the line is perfect. I had the Vikings going 7-10, and honestly, as I was going through, I thought I was being more generous to them because I like their team. I'm not a huge Kirk Cousins guy. But Jesus, they can run the ball. And man, they got playmakers. Like Thielen is hitting that age 30 season. Here's the thing, though. He's one of those receivers that I don't think it's going to matter. He's going to age well in this league. He's going to be just fine. Irv Smith is going to fill in that Rudolph role. They're going to be fine offensively. It's the defense. We're used to seeing the Vikings over the last 5-ish years or whatever have a really good pass rush, be real decent in the secondary, like Harrison Smith. Everyone's like, man, every single year, Pro Bowl player, All-Pro, future Hall of Famer. But this team has drafted a cornerback in I don't know how many damn drafts in a row, and have they hit on one yet? They're either cutting them or they're getting in trouble. Like this team is just cursed at taking a cornerback in an early round in the drafts right now. But I like what they're doing. I'm with you, DJ. I have to pass on this one. It does have to deal a little bit with Aaron Rodgers. I know the over-under win totals isn't as huge. I think if you're talking about division winners, then what you're alluding to is probably more relevant. But yeah, it is 2 games. And when we're talking about a 17-game size, that's a decent percentage, especially when it comes to betting. Vegas is wanting people to take the under here. That's what kind of freaks me out a little bit. Minus 145 is a pretty big number if you want to hit that over. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say that Vegas knows something because I don't know if anyone knows. I don't think Rodgers knows what he wants to do. I think he's on another planet right now, just peyote and like.
He kind of is. Hawaii is not America. It's not America. It's not the Earth. It's
a different planet. I'm pretty much convinced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one. 7 and 10. I actually think they're a better team than that. But 9's tough, and I see that minus 145 number, and it just scares me a little bit. So I'm gonna go there. And as we see the comment from Kyle, he's given me the 7 and 10 ... with a little. I think that's a thinky face.
Why is he giving it to you?
I found out I'm terrible at.
Why is he giving it to you?
Because I said it was 7 and 10.
He's just giving it to us.
What was your prediction for them?
Well, I think he's just talking to us. We're a team here.
Kyle, if you're still listening, put in the name that you gave this to. The options are DJ, Ben, or us.
Yeah, it was us, I think.
We'll see how that goes. While he does that, we'll move on to the Detroit Lions, who I know we're both really damn low on. Vegas is also low on them.
The Lions are next.
5 wins. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped the Bears. Let's go to the Bears, and then we'll go to that disappointing team. Bears are 7.5. Over is minus 130. Under is minus 110. DJ, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going over on this. I do, as much as they say Andy Dalton's going to start here. Justin Fields is going to. I just blanked on Justin Fields' name. Justin Fields, I honestly believe is going to be the starter. It's hard. You know what? They had a good draft. They added at the offensive line. That's a position that's going to make an immediate impact. They just are. Offensive linemen do translate typically right away if they're really good. I love Justin Fields. I do. He's tough. People look too much at the games that he's injured.
Weird that I like his fit in Chicago more than like any other team I thought he was going to go to. Like seems like a good fit, doesn't it?
No, I think he'd fit fine. I think he should have been the San Francisco's pick. I really think they made
that'd have been
pick.
A good fit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's kind of fine anywhere. I think he's just a really solid, just good quarterback. And it's hard for me to say that. And I hope I'm wrong. And I know Chicago does what they do, and they just take life out of any quarterback that could potentially be good. But it's hard for a defense to get up every game when you have a guy like Nick Foles being the worst quarterback ever to play, and they refusing to put Trubisky back. Like Nick Foles, they just didn't want to admit, like, oh, he's really bad. They had to wait till he got hurt, it was ridiculous. So your defense, how do you get up for those games? They have their downs. Well, yeah, because your quarterback can't do anything. Your offense isn't moving the ball. Allen Robinson's frustrated. Now you actually have a quarterback in Justin Fields, and Andy Dalton's even semi-competent in comparison to both of those guys.
Yep.
But Justin Fields, a guy they can believe in, a guy they can get excited about, and they know the rest of the guys are around them. So, we can rally around this guy, and we can give him some confidence by getting him the ball back with the short field. Again, if Aaron Rodgers is gone, they are my division winner bet. With my brain, they're my division winner bet.
I don't hate what you're saying. Are you a Justin Fields from day one guy?
Yes. I don't care what they say.
I don't mind that. I just wonder if starting Fields from day one is in the best interest of Matt Nagy, because I think it buys him a year. Like, he won't get fired this year if they go with Fields and he kind of struggles.
I disagree.
You would disagree on that?
Well, no. I think they have to start Justin Fields in order to save their jobs, and they have to win with him. I think if they don't win with either one of them, they're out. But you don't want to not win with Andy Dalton.
Right. Because then you're going to be like, oh, shit, we picked this guy, and now a new coaching staff maybe gets to succeed with Justin Fields. I actually like what you said more than what I said. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
You should screen grab that and send it to me sometime.
It happens more than you think.
Disagree. Actually, I agree. Or do I disagree? let's say this. I went with the Bears going also 7-10. One that I'm not confident in because I really like what
Aaron
you said
Rodgers.
there about like, what'd you say?
Because of Aaron Rodgers. It all ties back to one guy.
It
really.
kind of does tie back to that. No, but I agree with what you said about like the offense. This offense can be fine. The defense is already good. You don't need the offense to be top 5, top 10 in the league. Like that's not what this team needs to do. This offense needs to chew up some clock, be good with the running game, make some plays down the field, do some play action. Like this team, they don't need to be ultra explosive. They need to score 24-ish points a game, play with a little bit of a lead, and then let their defense do their thing. Like that's how this team can win. And if they can continually do that, 7.5 won't be an issue. It could be a 10-win team. I don't have any doubts about that. But with so much uncertainty at how the quarterback position plays out, and if you throw in Fields from day one and he struggles, 7.5 is going to be tough because I don't think you're going to go back to Dalton. Like if you start Fields from day one, I don't think you're going to go back to Dalton. No. I know why you're smirking.
No, I play with my dog.
You're on?
No, my dog. And I'm actually this game, I hate betting. Just stop basketball. This is the most disappointing game of my entire life.
Love it. Well, I'm gonna pass on that one. Now let's go back to the Lions. Over under the number was set at 5. The over is -125. The under is -115. DJ, tell me why you're going under.
Because this is the worst team in all of the NFL. Second worst team. It's going to be the Jaguars, Jets is now the Bears. I'm sorry, the Lions, Texans. That's the battle for the number 1 pick this year.
You're probably spot on. Somehow Miami's going to get the Texans pick.
But the Texans will fuck it up like the Jets did because that's what they do. And the Lions will end up with the number 1 pick, and they'll take a quarterback to replace Goff. Goff's bad. Goff is just bad. I predicted I was going back on my time hop. That's what it was. And looking at past predictions, I was going to tweet it, but I didn't want to be Ben. I said that Jared Goff is going to have a I said Jared Goff is going to have a somebody type regression. I don't think it was Jimmy Garoppolo. It was somebody.
Seems like you probably should have retweeted it. So
I should have retweeted it. I said he was going to have a huge regression, and I was correct. They didn't make the playoffs the next year. I nailed that. Somebody was arguing with me. We were going back and forth. I was right. It turned out I was right. Jared Goff really just succeeded because his coach could scheme guys open. Same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. Both not good quarterbacks, both beneficiaries of a great offensive mind. Jared Goff is bad, and he's not going to work with Dan Campbell. I'm sorry, Ben. He got the Dolphins excited for like 5 minutes while he was
2
there.
weeks.
Yeah, something like that. 5 minutes, basically. But Dan can't. I mean, how many times have NFL teams done this where they hire a guy like this and he's just a failure? He's not. He isn't.
It's funny. He's not the X's and O guy. He's the rah-rah guy.
Yeah, and he doesn't really believe that much in analytics. And you don't have to totally believe in analytics, but you have to have some kind of. You have to be able to incorporate that into your coaching. And if you don't, then you just refuse to.
You need to acknowledge the existence.
Yes, otherwise you just refuse to move forward. But that's why Bill Belichick has continued to be a great coach for this long. So this is a 2-win team. This is literally. This is again one of my favorite unders.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had them going 1-16. Honestly, if the over/under is at 5, I can be off by 3 games and be perfectly fine here. This is one that it's not one of my favorite bets, but it's one that I am telling you to bet on. The -115. It's inviting you just to even bet more. Mm-hmm. I love this under. The one thing here, I'm gonna go to bat a little bit for Goff just for a second.
Don't do it.
I agree with you that he's not like your franchise guy. We talked, was it last week when we talked about like what's that level of quarterback where if you have this guy or below, you need a new quarterback? He's below the line.
It was Derek Carr, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's below that line. But the situation that the Lions are in where it's like we're going to break it down and then we're just going to like rebuild it back up, he's fine. Like this is the bridge quarterback.
Yeah, if you draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
They didn't believe that they needed to draft a quarterback, so it's not really fine.
I can go a lot of ways with this one because at the same time, maybe do you add around that? Buy yourself a year. Let him try. He has gone to a Super Bowl.
Who's he
See
throwing
if
the
it works. That's going to be an issue. Let's see if you catch lightning in a bottle. See if the change of location, it helped him. See if he can show flashes. And then if it doesn't work, you've got those other playmakers that you were able to draft because you didn't invest in quarterback. And now go get a guy, whether it's a free agent, whether it's a trade, whether it's a rookie you're taking a gamble on. I don't mind Goff. I totally agree. He's below that line of what you want as a starting quarterback. But with the current situation of this team, he's fine. He's the perfect placeholder, which also makes me feel very confident in going under 5 wins. So I'm saying the same thing as you. I'm just trying to be nicer about it.
Nope.
Moving on.
I got nothing.
We got one division left. The NFC South. Tampa Bay is leading the way on this one. Vegas has their over-under set at 11.5. Under is -105. Over is -135. You're screaming under before I could even announce it.
I still don't believe in Tom Brady. Never will. He's too old.
Never will. He's too old. He's been saying for a decade.
I mean, who else could throw 3 interceptions in a fucking football game and win? Like, I don't.
It's impressive. That's how good he is.
That's how good your defense is. That's how good the team around you is.
Who else can throw a Lombardi trophy from one boat to another?
Anybody. Anybody can do that. Literally anyone.
Not everyone has the stones, though.
It got intercepted, too, on the way over.
Brady had confidence in his toss. No one else, no other Super Bowl winning.
No, he didn't. He was so scared when he threw it.
No, you're so hammered when he threw it.
He wanted to lose to the Packers. Like, he wanted to lose so many games. He's like, I'm going to try to lose this game. I'm going to throw the ball to the other team and see if they can just win. And they just couldn't. No, I again, this is another situation where everybody's it's only 11 games. They're going to smash the over. Fuck.
I'm one of those guys.
I'm going to turn back around. I might change my mind. Because their defense is very good. They have enough weapons on the offense, and they're playing with the Carolina Panthers,
Saints, Falcons,
with the New Orleans Saints without fucking
rebuilding teams.
Yes, and the Falcons might be okay. They might be okay. Who knows? Matt Ryan's still quarterback, if I'm correct.
Yeah, and Julio's out the door.
Is Matt Ryan still the quarterback or no?
He's the one that's taking the snap.
Oh yeah, the Falcons suck. I don't know.
Way to put that one on a tee for yourself.
Fuck. Under.
This is the final bet that I have that I'm going to absolutely tell people to take, and it's over. I know it's trappy. It's what do you always call this one? Rat line. There you go. I've got them going 15-2. I didn't even think I had them winning that many games, but I'm tired of every single year saying, "Oh, this is the year Tom Brady regresses." The dude has put together 3 different Hall of Fame careers. It's unbelievable. He's not slowing down though. No.
He did though. It's
not alcohol for the first time in his life this last year, and I think it's only going to elevate his play. Like, this guy he's unstoppable now. I don't know what's running through his veins. I don't think it's probably legal, but whatever it is, I need some of it. I got him going 15-2. I'm going to tell you to take the over here. The gang's back together. Do we really ever see teams like repeat in dynasties? If there is one in the NFL, it's been the Patriots. If there was a quarterback of that team, it was Tom Brady. There's a little bit of continuity there. I don't think we're going to see them completely fall off. And you talked about those teams. Saints no longer have their franchise quarterback for the last decade plus.
I'd rather have Jameis, though, to be honest.
We'll get to that because that's an interesting point to bring up. Falcons, rebuilding-ish, but not really, because you have Matt Ryan on a big contract for the next 2 years. And the Panthers, like, man, we're going through cornerbacks now, and now we're going to try out old Sam Darnold, and see what happens. So we're in a division of a lot of uncertainty, whereas the Bucs are the team that, hey, we've got the same damn guys on offense and defense as we had last year.
I think that division's going to be a lot better than you think.
Could be.
I do. Yeah. I think that division's going to be a lot better than most people think.
Well, we'll get there. Like I said, these other teams are kind of interesting to me. So let's go into the Saints. Vegas has their over-under set at 9. Over and under are both -120. There are people, I'm not necessarily one of them, but remember I think it was the playoff game when Tampa Bay played New Orleans, there was a lot of people saying, you know what? If Drew Brees wouldn't have played in this game, if Jameis Winston would have played this game, the Saints would have won that playoff game.
100%.
So that number 9, though, is tough. 9 is a really good line here.
I'm gonna pass because I talk about how I look at. There's a couple episodes or a couple game teams in the last episode. I think it was probably in the AFC East or something like that. I think it was the Dolphins was one of them. I need to sit back, and I just need to watch the quarterback.
See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to watch the quarterback play, see how Jameis plays. Now that I honestly, I know we joke about LASIK eye surgery. I truly do think that actually can make a real difference. Like if you can't see that well, it's a little bit harder to throw to guys. Like it really.
I wear contacts, and I wouldn't even step inside of a car on the driver's side without them in.
So I know we joke, but I think there's an actual real factor in it, and I want to. I think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think he should have been a starting quarterback in the NFL, and I'm excited that he got LASIK eye surgery. I worry about. I mean, obviously he's got Alvin Kamara. I do worry about the fact that he only really has Michael Thomas at wide receiver. I feel like that's his only weapon, but I just want to wait and see. They're a team I just want to sit back and watch. I'm not going to make a bet over under on them one way or other. I want to make a judgment on what they're going to do, and I'll start betting on their games later. In 3 games into the season.
It's interesting how you can do that because you think about like ways to take away a team's best player, and you could put your second best cornerback on Michael Thomas at all times and just assign a safety to him as well.
Yeah,
just bracket the shit out of him. Yeah, and then throw your best cornerback on whoever your number 2 guy is. Stack the box. I'm sorry, I'll take that back. Load the box a little bit. Try to take Kamara out. We've seen the position of linebacker evolve where these dudes are running 4-4s, 4-5s. Basically try to contain Kamara and make Winston beat you with these other like playmakers. Little Jordan Humphrey, Traquan Smith. Like, what are we talking about here? That's what scared me. And I don't like this prediction. I had him going 5-12.
No, Jesus.
I don't.
Well, that's out of control.
I don't think that's accurate, and that's why I'm saying like I don't think I'm 4 games off. I don't think I'm accurate on that. So this is one that sticks out to me as like I'm lower on this team than I should be.
Did you have to beat the Packers game 1?
Bet on them. Maybe, I don't know. Spoiler. I'll have to tell you if I was telling the truth or not.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna go. I would lean under, but I'm not gonna tell you to bet on it. So let's go to the Falcons. Matt Ryan still is the quarterback. Over under is set at 7.5. Over is -150. Vegas does not want you to bet that. Well, I guess I technically do, but under is +105. Julio Jones earlier this week, whatever that was, basically said he's out of there. That changes things.
He's going to Green Bay, I heard, and Aaron Rodgers is coming back. So we're on the street.
I told you
contract moves all of a sudden.
The day that news broke, I said if Julio would get traded to Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers stays, Green Bay can put it on cruise control and they will be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we thought about this when Randy Moss was free, and we didn't, make a 3rd-round pick for him. So it's just like, whatever. I'm gonna falsely say that, not actually believe it, but I'm gonna pretend like it's a real thing. I'm gonna bet the over on this one. I know Julio's not gonna be there, but these kids are out of control. I'm gonna bet the over. You go ahead.
The problem is I can't really add much here because I am going 7-10. I love the offense. What's not to like about the offense? The problem is when I had them going 7-10, this was before the Julio news broke when I made that prediction. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I kind of went into it saying, you know what, there's a good chance that Julio either doesn't play on this team this year, or as we saw last year, he's significantly hindered because he's hurt a lot right now. And you still got playmakers. You added Kyle Pitts, who you can line him at tight end. You can line him up on the outside at receiver. You got Calvin Ridley, one of the best route runners in the game, a hands guy, underrated speed. The guy just does it all. It kind of falls back to what Matt Ryan are we going to get? Are we going to get MVP level? Probably not. Doesn't have Shanahan anymore. Probably doesn't have Julio anymore.
Fuck that guy.
And that, right. And the defense needs to improve. What scares me here is like I said earlier, this division is so many question marks where they could win 8, and it wouldn't surprise me. But at the same time, I don't feel comfortable betting on it. I'm going to just completely pass on this one because I don't have anything insightful that I can add to you. I'd just be blubbering. So let's go on to Panthers. Over under 7.5. We just had a stuffed animal make an appearance on the podcast. What is that thing? A green thing? Look at that. That's a nice little dinosaur. DJ's on tilt. I love it.
It was a dinosaur. Good call on that one. Like throw it through a wall.
Wait,
You live on YouTube.
I thought the dinosaur, not the kid. The line is at 7.5. The over is -110. The under is -130. DJ and the dinosaur, you got anything to any feelings on this one? Carolina's an interesting team.
I feel like I'm betting everybody over, but I love Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's the real deal. They get Christian McCaffrey back 2 years ago. They drafted all the players on defense they could find.
Yep.
They've got Robbie Anderson. They've got DJ Moore, who's changing his number to number 2, I believe. So that's a big deal.
Terrace Marshall added in the draft.
Terrace Marshall's something. Hopefully he's healthy.
I really like Terrace Marshall in that offense.
So do I. I wanted him. But,
reunited with what's his face, Joe Brady.
Yeah,
from LSU.
And it feels so good. Yeah, and I'm leaning over on this one. I do. This is part of where I think this division, this fucking kid, is. This is part of where I think this division is a lot better. This is what I'm talking about. I think Sam Darnold is legit. You can't play in New York with nothing and win games. It's just impossible. But now you've got a running back. You've got some weapons, like legitimate weapons. He was out there scoring with, Denzel Mims, and he was making some plays. So I think this game goes over, or this team goes over.
And the game. Man, I wrote an article recently. You can find it on loadedboxpodcast.com. I was talking about who is the wide receiver to draft in dynasty drafts, after Jamar Chase. Chase?
What was that?
You got it.
AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson. Oh, wait.
So here's the deal. You're out of your element, DJ. Right now, if you have no idea what he's talking about because he didn't talk about what I was talking about, all he's trying to do there is hype up his own personal dynasty team.
Yep.
Like I said, nothing to do with what we're actually talking about. Just wants to put a plug in for his dynasty team's wide receiver.
Facts.
Okay.
Yeah. Just want everybody to know that.
What I was saying, outside of Chase, I like Jalen Waddle, but I also really like Terrace Marshall, and I like him more than Devontae Smith right now. We talked about the reunion with his former LSU coach. What I like about that is, despite the injury stuff that came out and likely pushed him out of the first round, not only did he have the stats that were pretty good, along with playing alongside Justin Jefferson, alongside playing with Jamar Chase, he had decent numbers that year. But Joe Brady also knows the potential that Terrace Marshall would have had and the numbers he would have put out if those guys wouldn't have been there. If he could have been one of those top 2 guys, Joe Brady knows that potential. So he knows what he has, and he probably sees the untapped potential. Because I think Terrace Marshall played in, 6 or 7 games last year before opting out. Prior to that, he had 10 touchdowns. I think he had 10 touchdowns in 7 games on an LSU team that wasn't that good. They were
bad. Not that good.
Here's why I softened that blow because they beat Florida in the fog game.
Yeah, the shoe game.
The shoe fog game, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, and that's just because I like this team, but I don't have much to add from a gambling standpoint because the over-under is 7.5, and I've got them going 7 and 10, but I truly think that they're a better team than 7 wins. I think they've got more than that, but I can't trust taking an under in this circumstance when I physically didn't give them more than 7 wins as I went through every single game on their schedule. And I wouldn't bet the under because I think they're a better than what I kind of put them at here. So I said a lot without really saying a lot. I like the offense though. I like what we're doing here, and I think that defense is up and coming. So it's an exciting time to be a Carolina Panthers football fan. That's all I can say, DJ.
Yeah.
DJ,
great time.
We went through AFC last week. We knocked out the NFC this week. Do you have anything else you would like to add to tonight's episode?
Pass.
Well, I really thought you were going to end up with the Packers complete breakdown. I found a line. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about that.
I thought you thought that, so I thought that I would not say anything about it. I just passed like I did with the Packers. That was the time. That was the throwback there.
You double thinker.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, we can wrap this up. I'll let you go play with your green dinosaur. Check us out on Twitter at Loadedbox, that website that I talked about earlier, loadedboxpodcast.com. We've got dynasty rankings, dynasty mocks, articles, podcasts, everything you need is right there. Next episode is TBD, but we'll be back and it'll be better than ever. We've got some good content ideas kind of in the works right now that we're solidifying. We're available everywhere. Subscribe, rate, review. DJ and the green dinosaur, send us out.
Bye.